Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Brothers Take. I am Eric, your humble host today, and I am joined by the oldest of us, Adam.
You don't have to say it like that. You don't have to.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm joined by the handsomest Adam.
That sounds way better.
All
Hello.
right, we're going with that one. And for this episode, you'll notice that our usual host, Chris, is not here. That is because he is away enjoying his lovely honeymoon with his recent wife. That makes it sound like there's been more. His only wife. They got married, him and Ash, and they're away on their honeymoon now. So they're obviously not here for this episode. But it did spark a topic for us. That this is what the episode is going to be about. So if you find any of it interesting, you can always touch base with us on the various social media platforms such as Instagram, X, Facebook, or you can jump down in the comments on YouTube and leave any of your opinions there. If you also enjoy it, you can hit the like and subscribe buttons and click the notification bell on your YouTube and follow us as well on the social media sites that I listed previously. Now, without further ado, because I don't want to ramble, I'm not as good at this as Chris is. So, without further ado, let's jump into this. So for this episode, so considering Chris and his wife, his most recent wife, is
Out
they're
of all
away
of
on
them.
out of all of them, yeah,
Yeah,
are
they're
away
now enjoying soaking up the sunshine.
sunshine on their honeymoon. So Adam raised a good point or a good topic to me that I thought would be an interesting one, which was games that make you feel like you're sucked into another world. Is
Yeah,
is
games
that
that
do I
game.
have it correct?
Well,
Yeah.
it's games. Yeah, that you give you an opportunity to escape a little bit. It almost feels like you're going on a holiday. Is kind of how I was pitching it to you.
Yeah, and then that slightly confused me because then I was like, I don't know if like many of the worlds, because I was like in my head I was thinking about it, right? So I was like, okay, games that make you feel like you're on a holiday. For some reason in my head I was like, so lands I want to go on holidays to, and I was like,
That could be
not
it.
100%.
Whatever way you want to
Well,
interpret
I
that, I
don't know, but
guess.
like I don't know if I want to go to like Raccoon City or something, you know? That would
No,
suck.
not really. I mean that. I mean, just even without the dead people, I don't know if that's a city that I would like to go on holiday to. I don't know if there's
No,
anything
not
in
really, you
particular in
know.
Raccoon City that you're like, oh yeah, that'd be sweet to visit. Uh, yeah, so it's more to escape where we are, like, cause there's not a whole lot to see where we are.
Right, yeah, yeah.
And we do enjoy our little getaways. But even if you had time off, it's like, um, is there specific games that just make you feel like, I guess, freedom?
Mm.
You know. So I'd like to, like, I was suggesting that, like, okay, I come up with five, you come up with five. We'll go back and forward a little bit with these,
Yes,
and I'm
yeah, yeah.
sure we'll
So
have the same. So I think we should just get the obvious one out of the way
we'll get
first.
the obvious one out of the way, and I won't joke about it. But I'm assuming we both have Skyrim.
Absolutely, of
Yes,
course we have
Skyrim.
Skyrim. I mean, this wouldn't be the Brothers' Take if we didn't have Skyrim
Mentions mentioned Skyrim.
in
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
list.
Because I mean, like with that game, I mean, first of all, you can play it on every single console imaginable, from PS3 and
Not
Xbox
imaginable,
360,
but yeah, yeah.
most of them. But like, you got it on. It started on the Xbox 360 and the PS3,
Yep.
and we can still get it on current consoles
Yeah,
and
they've really
on
been
the
milking that.
and VR sites and everything like that. But man, there's a reason they're milking it. It's like Rockstar with GTA 5. So many people loved it and so many people got into it and loved messing around in it. They were able
Hmm.
to, because that was also PS3 and Xbox 360,
It was,
and they
yeah.
were able to.
That game doesn't get as bashed, I don't think. With how many iterations came out. I guess it's not as many as Skyrim, but it's certainly not as old either. But it's nearly. Nearly as old.
Nearly, nearly. Skyrim was 2011, GTA 5 was 2013, something like that. I don't know. I feel like it was
Yeah, I
that.
think it was yeah somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Um, but as old in terms of generation. Well, I think GTA 5 was. I think everyone was pretty much waiting for the next gen to actually pick that up.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
like it's
Yeah.
so close to the next gen. It was like, okay, I'll just hang on. I kind
Hmm.
of feel that way about MGS5 as well. You know, technically, I don't know if the Phantom Pain came out, but it certainly Ground Zeroes came out on PS3 and 360.
It?
Yeah, but it was being
Oh my
developed for
God.
that era. That's how fucking old that game is.
Why? Because
That
I we
here's the
only
thing,
got.
right? MGS5 is
We've
as
already gone
old.
on a
I
tangent.
know, I know. But MGS5 is as old as Venom Snake was in a coma.
Oh my God. Holy fuck. That's
Anyway,
okay.
back to
That's
Skyrim. Back
that's
to Skyrim.
not that's not a land I want to go. I feel like holidays. That feels like a fucking chore to go around there. But
Well, even
Skyrim,
yeah, I mean the locations in MGS5 are not really vacation places anyway. In reality, so, but I suppose Skyrim wouldn't be either. But I don't know. I think there are some nice places in Skyrim, but that's one of those games where I will occasionally, because I've cleared it so many times, I
pretty sure
will
you
just.
cleared it more than me. I think I've only ever cleared it twice.
I think it's the only game I've cleared. It's like I won't play. I won't clear Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'll just load up Skyrim again and play it again. But it's one of those games where I just will load it up and just start walking. And I think it's apart from just the beautiful vistas in the game, and I suppose the mods give it a little bit of extra life as well. You can
Hmm.
see it in a new way, um, but it's the music as well, and it's the sound. It's just the sound design in general
Hmm.
makes that world really feel alive. Certainly not the physics. That doesn't. But the music, every time you walk somewhere, it feels like an epic adventure. It's like, traveling to Mount Doom in Lord of the Rings. So
Hmm.
that game, I think, transports me to a place that I feel like I could never really go to, which is like Middle Earth.
Hmm.
And it's certainly
Yeah,
a place
because
I
I
would
think
love to visit.
like when you go into Dragon's Reach,
Mm.
it's not it doesn't look exactly like the Golden Hall of Edoras, but it does
It's pretty
give me that
close.
feels. It's pretty close. Like it does give me that feel. So yeah, that probably is why we had
A connection with
such
it.
a low yeah such a connection and love for Skyrim is first of all that Nordic style design, the music, the quest was it well it was formatted better. I'm not going to say that the quest was better, but just that
Better than
how
what?
the quest sorry than everything ever out of it
Oh,
was better
okay.
than
Yeah,
ever.
yeah. The
No,
quest is
better than
better than everything.
Oblivion. Better than Oblivion because we never really connected to Oblivion.
No, and I
Well,
think
well, some people say that was
yeah, and I
better.
think probably that is the reason is that Skyrim feels way more like Lord of the Rings than Oblivion
Hmm.
did, and that's probably the thing that why we didn't really connect with it as much. Um, I'm sure others, they might feel the same way about Oblivion. They were like, yeah, Oblivion is the place. Like, I would like to visit Tamriel and stuff like that. Um,
And then other people would say the same about Morrowind. They're like, no,
Probably,
no, no, no,
which
Morrowind's
is
where it at.
totally fine. But I think the Elder Scrolls in general really does offer, um, and I hope that's what the next one brings. Is it doesn't lose the world being alive, the world being a character. And
Hmm.
I think that's what Skyrim really brought. And I don't really care about the NPCs. I don't really care about the missions. It's the world itself was so believable and
Hmm.
alive. I hope they add more of that to it because it's something that Starfield has certainly lost. There's a lot of great shit in Starfield when it comes to the weapons and the ships and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But the world feels so empty and lifeless. And I suppose, if you travel in space, probably would, but it just makes exploring them just not interesting. And I really hope they. This is probably a lesson they learned from the likes of Fallout, where they've been improving the combat and the shooting.
Yeah.
And I think they have been doing a better job in those areas, but they kind of left behind the thing that makes RPGs in general, I think, really really fascinating is the world itself.
Yeah, because if you look at like the old Fallout games, I mean, the graphics and shooting isn't exactly.
Those were I would greatly prefer that gameplay over the new ones.
But like because it's a point and click,
Yeah.
it's not as fluid.
Yep.
So therefore, because I think it was a bunch of it was some people, and it was like their side project. They were already working for a gaming company. It was their side project to make Fallout,
Oh really?
and yeah, well, if the video can be believed, that's what it was telling me.
Oh okay.
But in saying that, because they didn't have the technology to make this big, grand, epic scale, they had to go, well, what else is interesting? And so they made the world really interesting. And so, yeah, that is at the
Mm.
core of RPGs,
Yep.
is the kind of like in Skyrim, when you're running around, you go, oh, there's like you have your little mini map thing at the top, and it's like, oh, there's a marker over there. What's over there? And you go over there, and it could be a whole quest, and you're like, holy fuck, is this an update? Is this a mod? Was this always in the game? Because the amount of times you turn on that game and kind of go, oh, what's over there? And you just get a whole new quest you never played before and never knew about.
Yep.
It's
Yeah, and it's
nuts.
just it's key to fantasies in general. That's why the Lord of the Rings works so well. Is that the world itself was
Mm,
incredibly believable, and it's kind of set the tone. Then all fantasies after the Lord of the Rings put so much emphasis on the world, and everything kind of trickles from there. Then once you have a good world, you've got good creatures, then you can get
mm,
good characters, and so on. And it's why Star Wars was such a successful sci-fi in comparison to all the others, is because it followed the fantasy formula.
mm,
Like each planet being okay, that planet is just an ice planet. Not very realistic when you think about how planets might function, especially habitable ones. But in a fantasy setting, that makes a ton of sense. You go to the ice realm
mm.
and so on. Um, so yeah, I just hope that the next Elder Scrolls does not lose track of that and ensures that the world is very believable, so that I can go on holidays again virtually.
It would be so nice, and I will can't wait for them to actually, say something more because Elder Scrolls 6 was announced
I believe, yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
Too
yeah.
many years ago.
Is it 6?
It's 6 because Skyrim's 5.
No, 6 years. I mean, 6 years ago.
Oh, right.
Is it 6 years ago? Maybe
I
it's
don't know how
less,
many
but
years ago.
I feel like it
It's
could be.
probably I don't know. It's been too long.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
too long. To the point that you almost forget that they actually had an announcement trailer.
yeah. So that's the obvious one. It's Skyrim. We talked about it. I don't know how many times, so it's not much more.
Bring it up
Actually,
in
there
every
is a
game.
ton we could say about it. In fact, why aren't we a Skyrim podcast? It should be just that. Anyway,
Because I think Chris would get very annoyed if we couldn't talk about Final Fantasy VII.
yeah, there's Final Fantasy 7 mods in Skyrim. Anyway, what was your next one then?
Well, actually, speaking of Final Fantasy VII,
No
Final
way.
Fantasies, yeah,
Really?
yeah, yeah. Final Fantasy VII remake more so, mainly because we're talking about that idea that you just walk and there's the people around in the place, and you almost don't want it to end.
Okay.
Which just reminded me of that moment when you're the first time you're with Aerith in Final Fantasy VII
Oh yeah.
remake. That just I don't know why. There's like barely any combat, but it's just the pacing of that moment
Hmm.
that then eventually led up to the greenery and our house and our waterfall, and I cried like a baby. Like
That's
I
a very
mean,
short-lived holiday though. If you were to,
yeah, but you know what?
do you just
It
load up
was
that chapter every now and then?
I would fucking so load up that chapter. The only downside to that chapter is you have to fight Reno at the start. It's like I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I just wanna.
I just I just want to go on that date with Aaron. It was fucking,
Okay.
but it's that moment of seeing like Lord of the Rings, actually,
Hmm.
where it's that realization I had that I'm playing this game because that's what I'm fighting for.
Right.
I'm fighting for that greenery.
That is your
Like
Shire.
that's the Shire right there, and that's what because for most of the game it's dust
Hmm.
and it's gray buildings and it's tarmac and everything like that, and it's quite a dead looking area.
Hmm.
And then you just get to this vista of greenery and a waterfall, and I think there's a bit of a rainbow. I was like, this time over, it's like I want to live there. I want to
Yeah.
be there. That's very nice.
So that would be your B&B of choice. You would hope that she's on
Yeah, like my
Airbnb, and you,
mm,
if you're going to visit Midgard, that's the place you're going to stay.
yes,
Yeah.
that's my
When
weekend
you're
getaway.
when you're backpacking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When I'm hiking across the lands of Skyrim, I want to see that B&B there.
Okay.
What's
uh,
yours?
my next one will be and for it would be Grand Theft Auto, and I think anyone could put any form of Grand Theft Auto in here, whatever one you connected with. For me, it's San Andreas, but I can't say
Mm,
that San Andreas is the one that everyone should do,
mm,
because I think everyone has a connection, and again, I think it comes to the music, as well as the picking whatever fancy car you could get in the game, but just driving down the highways, blasting whatever your favorite channel was. Um, I remember so many times just loading up that game, and again, just not not playing the story or any of the missions, but just living the life of the character, whatever
mm.
character I forged in it. Even though, yeah, he's not a nice dude. Um, does some not nice things, but if you wanted to, outside of playing the main story, you could do nice things if you wanted to. You could absolutely follow the law. You can go to the gym. You could go to Cluck and Bell and get some a burger and chips. Go buy some new clothes. Go cycling up a mountain. Um, you could absolutely that you could turn that game, if they really wanted to turn that into a life simulator that wasn't about crime, if they really wanted to.
They
And
could. I was so shocked that they negated some of the things you could do in San Andreas from the other GTA games.
yeah, and I think that's why I haven't really been able to connect with any of the new ones at all. Uh, I think San Andreas certainly was so much more than just a crime narrative game. I mean, yeah, that's
Mm.
the main plot of it, of course, but there's so much more you could do in it. And it was just like, whether that's doing some graffiti, whether that's racing in cars, whether that's doing the lowrider bouncing competitions, whether that's skydiving and parachuting, and like there's just so much you could do in that game outside of the. So that's another one where I'm just like, if I was feeling a little bit down and wanted to get away, San Andreas, that's what I would load up.
I have actually a question. I saw a video and I don't know if this is like a mod or anything like that. So you've played and cleared San Andreas.
Hmm.
You might be able to clarify this. I seen a clip and it was CJ and it was San Andreas graphics and it was titled San Andreas where he flies up in a helicopter above a plane, jumps out of the helicopter, lands on the plane, gets in,
Yeah,
and
you could
that
do
actually
that.
happens.
You can do that. Yeah.
But this was part of a mission. You had to shoot
Oh,
people
sure.
inside the
Okay.
plane.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. 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 Well, I don't. I can't remember. It's been so long. I remember doing that, but I don't remember if that's part of a mission.
Yeah, because he just went in and it went into like some weird first person mode as he shot people, and it was
Hmm.
very weirdly
That
done. So I was
sounds
a bit
like a
like,
mod to me.
yeah, it seemed like a mod.
Yeah.
But just thought
But
I'd
you
ask
could you
just
could
for
hijack a plane midair. That was.
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you ever see actually just a tangent? Was it the moment in like I think it's one of the Battlefield games. Someone is like flying in a jet and then jumps out of the jet, takes out the rocket launcher, shoots another jet, then gets back in his own jet.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
It is nuts. Yeah. You'd wonder if
That's
they
very
actually
funny.
planned that shit, or if it's
Just very lucky.
the little Jack Sparrow moment.
Another game from me that I could just get lost in with the vistas, nature, and just everything about it. It's such a beautiful landscape, which is Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, I had that on my list as
You had
well.
that on your list.
Yeah, that is definitely yeah because it's
Well, it makes me want to go to the island of Tsushima.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah, you'd be a bit disappointed if it's nothing like that.
yeah, if
But
I go and go, why is everything real? Where's the graphics?
yeah, yeah, I just want to follow the bird.
Yeah.
I want to
Uh,
write some haikus. Yeah, there's just so much in that game that's so again. I think the emphasis on trying to make the world a character
hmm,
that really really works there. Um, a combination of the sound engineering and making. I think that was one of the cleverest things about it. It's not the first game to do it, and I'm sure they've were inspired by the likes of Flower and stuff like that, which is
hmm,
using the world uh, and the physics as a means to navigate it. I think it's
hmm,
genius and something
yeah.
that you would like. Yeah, it's and at the beginning of the game when he leans down and he like just touches the grass, right?
Hmm.
Already you have such a connection to that world, and there's an element of like in Ghost of Tsushima, are you trying to save the people or are you trying to save the place?
Right, because everywhere you go where the invaders are, it's like the land is cut down and kind of burnt up and everything like that. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a bit
bit kind
Fern
of
Gully.
Fern Gully, or it'd be a bit like Mordor if they ever went to the Shire, or a bit.
We're
It's
bringing Lord of
again,
the
it's
Rings
one of
in,
those
yeah.
games where it's Lord of the Rings. It's one of those
Yeah.
games where it's like we're defending the nature of the land. Because even there's that side mission where the people are killing the foxes.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
You have to
yeah.
defend the foxes.
Yeah,
It's a great mission.
there is a bit of a Pocahontas kind of a thing
Mm.
with the game, your connection to nature and so on. Even though I think you can kill animals in it, don't you? You kill stag and stuff. Isn't that right?
Uh,
Do
yeah,
you
you
kill them
kill
for stuff?
boars for sure. I do
Ah,
believe
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
boars and dogs because the invaders brought dogs
I
with them.
thought that was funny actually the first time I saw the dogs when they attack you. Because I'm just like looking at the little thing going, are you serious? And then it attacks you and it's like, shit, it's really vicious.
But yeah, that's obviously that had to make my list
Yeah.
because that was a game where I was like so in the mood for a samurai game. Nothing was giving me what I wanted,
Mm.
and then this game came out and it gave me everything I wanted, from petting
Yeah.
foxes, writing haikus, and just wow. Even the fact you play a flute and the weather changes. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think that's what it for me that's what matters I think with those type of games, those type of immersive games is where the actual environment itself is reacting and it's a character in itself.
Hmm.
I think that's what really makes it. And it is that's the second one is definitely a game that will get me super hyped and super excited. I can't wait to jump back into whatever the next world is
Hmm.
and seeing where they go with it. I just think they did such a great job. I think the
Yeah.
unfortunate thing about Ghost of Tsushima, which isn't there in Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim, is when you're done with it, I feel like you're done with it. There isn't
Right.
a
Yeah.
ton left to do, and I would hope that in their next game, I don't really want more missions. Like I think that's a problem that I see in a lot of open world games, more modern ones. It's just about giving you more missions to do, and more towers to climb, and more things to find. I want the world to just keep offering me shit, regardless of if I finish them all. And I think Skyrim and GTA offer that. There's some random crap that you can come across
Hmm.
in both of those games that can just give you endless amount of sandbox fun. And more modern open world games, I think you're just getting a little bit more scripted to the point where it's like once you're finished, you're finished. That's it. There's nothing else to do.
That or it's that we offer over 300 hours of gameplay. It's like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I don't want that either. That again feels
Uh,
scripted. That's like we
yeah.
have curated 300 hours for you to play. And it's like, well, I don't really want that. I want maybe 60, 80 hour gaming experience and then to be let off and let me do my own thing. I want to be able to
Right.
just
Like
have fun in this world. Give me
I don't
enough
know
that I
how
can do.
I don't know how much like gameplay hours there would be in like The Witcher.
Yeah.
But I have over 500 hours in that by just roaming around that world and doing all the quests and all the stuff and doing it so many times to do different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's oh my God, that should be on my list. Fuck
But
it,
is
that's on
that
my
a place
list.
you would love to visit though?
No,
As a whole,
not
I didn't think
really.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's a pretty horrible world actually.
Mm.
It's a game I can get lost in for sure, but yeah, I don't know if I'd ever want to visit there.
Yeah.
Like Skyrim is like Lord of the Rings. You want to go there,
Yeah,
and
I'm pretty sure there's like places. Yeah, actually, now I'm really rethinking my next one.
what's your next one?
So my next one was Death Stranding.
That would be horrible.
Yeah, it
I
would.
can't leave.
Yeah, you can go out when it's sunny, I guess. just get indoors when it's raining. That's no
I,
different than being here, actually. Yeah, Death Stranding.
no, there's
So I get in out of the rain anyway.
Because like I mean, told me like Death Stranding did pop into my head. I
Yeah.
won't lie, it did
But
because
the difference is that it's not necessarily a place I would physically love to go, right? It's that when I'm
right, okay,
virtually there, it's almost as if I am being transported on, and I'm like, and Death Stranding is one of those games, especially
yeah,
the beginning of it. Like it's a hiking game, and
that's
it's
great.
absolutely stunning.
But you don't have to hike. It's great.
Well, you do towards the beginning, and until
No, no, no. You physically
well,
don't.
yeah, I physically don't have to, but yeah, it's just that's a game where you absolutely are not playing it for the gameplay. Just like you're not going, wow, what riveting. Even the shooting mechanics in it is crap. Like the
Yeah,
combat in it is terrible.
it's one of those games where I'm a bit like I actually wish there was less shooting.
I actually
I
wish there was
just
nothing in it other than just let me just walk around in this world. It's fucking awesome, and
it's
let
a
me pick
very
pick
beautiful
shit
world.
up and let me deliver your pizza, sir.
Mm.
I know people were complaining about it being basically a glorified Amazon delivery game, but I'm like, that's what I want.
And,
I think that would be great.
and actually, if it wasn't for Amazon, do you imagine how many people would be bored during COVID?
Yeah. Yeah. I that's that. It was one of the games that really popped in my head when I first came up with the topic.
Mm.
Outside of the ones we just mentioned, and when I did, I immediately loaded it up. I was like, yeah, I just wanna walk around on that landscape again
Okay,
because it's like going to some of the more Nordic countries in Europe.
very much so. It
Yeah,
actually, like Tsushima, made me go. I want to go to Japan.
yeah.
Death Stranding, especially at the
I want to go
start.
to Iceland.
I want to go to Iceland.
I
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
want to go to Iceland. It would be such an expensive trip just to take a photograph, but I want to do it.
Fuck me, that'd be some good photograph.
It would be the best photograph I've ever taken.
Because the contrast of the green grass on the kind of black
Black
rocks.
sand, yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking beautiful. But that game would be horror. Like now,
Yes, to live
you can
in,
go to
yeah,
Iceland,
yeah.
like The Witcher. I can get lost in The Witcher, but I don't know if I want to live in The Witcher.
No,
No,
no. What
but
about
now
Death
that you,
Stranding post, like the end of the game? I know
The
we don't.
Stranding is still there.
Yeah, I don't know how. We have to see how this plays out, but yeah,
Yeah, that's not going anywhere.
it is beautiful though.
Oh, it's a beautiful land. I just wish the rain didn't kill me.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the snow.
Anyway, that's my
My
that's my
God,
other
the
that's my
snow.
other pick.
Okay.
Yeah, the snow is
Uh,
the worst.
it's just horrible. So now I'm actually torn because now, like originally in my head, I was actually going to say the Mass Effect universe.
Oh yeah.
I know you don't really get to explore those worlds properly
Mm-hmm.
because usually when you land, it's a small section. But I do have such a fascination with space and would very much like to go there.
I have such a fascination with space.
It's fucking wild, man.
Yeah.
I would very much like to go there, so therefore it made sense to me to include Mass Effect.
You'd like to go to
Um,
space if you had the opportunity, and money was not an option. Would you go?
yeah,
Would you?
yeah.
I wouldn't be fuck.
I would absolutely go up into orbit, right?
Yep.
Video myself and go, huh? the world is flat. Just to fucking piss everyone off. You know how hilarious that was? It's like, I don't have to put up with it. I'm in space. Control everybody. You're in
Yeah.
space.
I think I would be terrified to go space. I am fascinated by it as well, and a lot of my favorite films are to do with space and space travel. But man, I just don't trust man-made objects enough to put me up there.
I don't know, like the ISS, that's been up there for a while. I think I'd have a fair
Do you
trust
think
of that.
that's do you think that's more trusting? Like the fact that it's been up there ages? That's more trusting than putting up a new one?
Oh no, put up a new one as well. If I could do it.
Yeah, it's just like
I'm not against them putting up a new better one.
no, I just think like, if there was something out in the ocean ages, I wouldn't be like, well, that seems solid. Uh,
Well, I don't know. Whales, they're pretty
yeah, yeah.
glass like.
So other than Mass Effect, what's the other?
uh oh yeah, so I was torn between The Witcher and Mass Effect, but I think I'd go with Mass Effect. I think if I was to exist in that universe, those are ships that are going to survive space unless
Hopefully,
another ship comes along and shoots them and then they blow up.
yeah. You come
But
in
I don't
contact
have
with
to.
Reapers.
Yeah. That's the only downside. It's like I'd
Yeah.
like to exist before the
Look, I think
Reapers.
everything has
Everything we named, yeah.
yeah
Skyrim had its dragons.
yeah world-ending dragons.
Yeah.
So
My last game is Breath of the Wild.
oh yeah, yeah.
'Cause on the
That
same on the
makes a ton
same
of sense.
yeah, on the same kind of path of Skyrim, where you just run around the green fields and the trees and the
Okay,
mountains and
so
whatnot.
if you were transport, I know we were saying just in terms of virtually just open up a game and just enjoying it. But
Mm.
if we were to say you were physically able to go there, right? If you were physically able to go to Hyrule, what place would you want to visit first?
The castle, because every time I play that game, that castle is fucked. So I'd like to go to the castle when
You
it's
just
not
see what
fucked.
it looks like when it's
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be nice. It's like, I've never seen this place okay. Even in Tears of the Kingdom, it's not okay.
yeah. It's never good.
No. That or the fucking tree.
Oh, the Deku Tree.
That's the one that I was about to see. I was about to call it the Kuruk tree, but no.
Yeah, let's
The Deku tree.
take a look at it with better frame rate. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only place well, maybe not the only one, but every time I go there, where the Master Sword is,
Hmm.
the frame rates drop like a motherfucker. Does that happen to you? Like it goes into like the single digits bad, and
Oh
that's like the
no.
only place that happens. And
I don't
in most, like if I climb up the tree, it's grand. If I'm out on the outside, but it's just that middle courtyard. Every time I run across it, it just drops.
I no, I didn't have that bad.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I had frame rate drops there at all,
Wow.
really. Yeah, I think my game ran pretty smoothly.
Damn.
I tell you where I wouldn't go. That Gerudo village. Because they just wouldn't be let in. So there's no point.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that exciting, would it?
No.
No. I actually can't remember the names of the realms now, actually. The I know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
oh, Gerudo. Yeah, no, I would go there. It stands. I was
Yeah, but
thinking
you're
the
not.
Goron. I was thinking the Goron one.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah, that wouldn't be.
I actually wouldn't go there either.
Yeah, but the Gorilla
Okay,
one. Yeah, I'd go there.
but you're not allowed in.
I'd get in. See me
How
do
would you
it.
get in? Let's see you do it then.
Yeah,
How would you get in?
I'd say my link to it. Yeah, I'm not afraid. The place I think I can't remember the name of it, but it's essentially the one of the first places you go to, which is the village where that kind of older lady is. Um, Is it the
Oh, Impa, is it? Is
Yeah, yeah,
she?
yeah, yeah. Her village. I'd go
Oh
there.
yeah.
That place just looks. That place reminds
Well,
me of Kakariko Village from.
isn't that in? I think it's Kakariko
Is
Village
that the name
in.
of it? Kakariko Village?
No, I don't think she's at Kakariko Village, but I think Kakariko Village is in it.
Yeah,
And
well,
it's just in
yeah, I'd
the
imagine
village.
it would be. Maybe is that on it?
I thought Kakariko Village was the other one where you find the first fairy.
There is a ferry there. You mean the ferries in the fountains?
Oh, I'm thinking of a different location. You are correct. My bad.
Yeah.
I was thinking of that location where there's that tower up on top of the hill, and it's something to do with the Sheik plate.
Oh, the one where the town that you helped build up. Is that it? Man, there's so many places in Breath of the Wild.
There is, but I'm trying to think which place. There's a place you can build up.
Did you know
Is that not
this?
in? Is that not in Tears of the Kingdom?
Uh, yes, as well. There's a town in. Oh wait. No, I think it's in Breath of the Wild as well. It's kind of a shitty town, and they build it up. I think. Maybe I'm maybe I am getting the two games mixed up.
They are very similar, but either
They're very
way,
similar.
the Kingdom of Hyrule and all those surrounding areas would be lovely to visit.
Yeah,
I
I think
wouldn't
that'd be.
understand what everyone's saying because no one speaks a language there. They just go, heh heh, heh heh heh.
I think
So
you
I'd
get
be
the
like,
hang of it. Um, yeah, no, that would be a. That's another one of those games as well where you can just even if you've completed it, you could just jump in and still find
wander
things to
around.
do.
Yeah. There's just so much messing around with those games as well.
Yeah, so is it the AI that they're offering? The fact that they're like this wandering thing and they're still doing they still do get up to mischief. Is that it, or is it because Breath of the Wild and the other games we've mentioned um offer more things, like you can collect things, you can still find special armor, but these are
Hmm.
not tied to quests. These are just
Things you
additional
do.
things that you could, like in Skyrim. It's like getting the ebony armor or the dragon armor. There's no quest for that. It's just, if you wanted to, you could go and craft, and you can get better at it, and it just
Love
gives you
smithing.
an extra task, one that you can set yourself if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
think
what's
that's
required?
I think that's the main thing is that you have to kind of have, well, you don't have to, but you probably should have a thing that's like, yeah, there's no test to it. There's no quest or anything. It's just like in the Witcher 3, actually, you can make Witcher based armor, which is like, and you
Hmm.
can upgrade that armor to make better versions, and they become like the best armors in the game. But there's no quest to that.
But I suppose with
That's just
Witcher
then
as well, it's like, I mean, is there an end to Gwent?
there is. I actually don't know if I've ever completed that though.
But can you not,
Well,
like,
well, like,
if you?
well, actually, you can just keep playing everyone
Yeah,
forever and ever and ever and ever. Yeah,
that's what I
yeah.
mean. Like, so if I think that's what it is. It's like it's offering a world that really keeps on giving, and
Mm.
it's not tied to specific quests, and it's not events, right? So that's something that I don't really like in modern games, which it's like, um,
I think this,
like in
like,
Destiny, right? Like
yeah.
Destiny is a game that keeps on going, but
Mm.
let's face it, you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Yes.
The quests are like, although it just keeps generating new ones, and you can get new shit to maybe buy another thing or unlock a special gun, in a kind of a raffle kind of situation, you're technically just doing the exact same quest. It's not something. It's not a self directed goal. It's not something that I've set myself that I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this.
Hmm.
Now there was one quest in it wasn't really a quest, but there was a thing that you could do in Destiny 2, not Destiny 2. I think it was the
Well, there's
first
one
Destiny.
or two.
Oh, which is the one? Maybe it was 2. Which is the one that had like the cool dude? He looked like a space wolf. It was like the
Oh,
iron.
that's the end of the first one.
That's the first one. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
there was this really meaningless task that I just could not help myself and try and do it. But there's at the top of this mountain, and if you climb to the top, you got something. I think you got a trophy. That's it. Like that's all you
All
have to get.
right.
But it was actually really hard to get to the top. Like it was very fucking difficult because there was no mechanics for climbing and stuff like that. So you had to try and time the double jump or the glide or whatever, and you had to land on very specific part. It almost felt like old school like 90s games or early 2000 games where you just kind of cheated your way up a hill kind of a situation
Mm.
where you can't really do that. Or I remember like playing the Phantom Pain on PS1, and when you're Qui-Gon Jinn, you had to get the
You
the
said Phantom Pain. You mean
oh sorry,
Phantom
the
Menace?
Phantom Menace. Sorry, the Phantom Menace is what I meant.
But I know what you're talking about. PS1, that was some fucking hard platforming game.
Yeah, you had to get to Anakin, and you had to give him this thing, and there's a guard in your way. So you have to go off and get whatever it is that's needed, and then when you get it, the guard moves away, and then you move down. Whereas
Mm.
I used to do this like at a particular angle, and you do like this like double jump spin thing where you just jump past him, and then you can get to the end, right? So it's things like that where you're kind of breaking the game. That's what it felt like with this, but it was planned as well, which is what I really really loved about it. It's like this there is a trophy on top, so you can get up, but they've made it in such a way that it's like it feels like you're kind of breaking the game. I spend hours just trying to get
Hours
to the
in that.
top of that, and that was like a self of like that's I set myself this really stupid task. It has nothing to do with the rest of the game, but I'm gonna get up to the top, and I did.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think as well events like Assassin's Creed Valhalla had events as well that were just weird.
Yeah,
Or is this kind of like okay, I don't get what's going on here. There's a bunch of people in my village. This makes no sense.
yeah. Those are
Grand.
more MMO kind of methods of offering
Keeping people.
continuous play.
Hmm.
Uh, it's yeah, not a bad thing. I guess a lot of people obviously love that. It's not what I look for in a game, and some of the things that we just mentioned here is like that's what I look for is less structured, self-fulfilled, stupid tasks, but the world allows for that opportunity. That's what
Yeah.
I fucking love.
This isn't obviously just for people in case they get a little confused. This is obviously just for like the open world games. We don't mean this for like
Oh
the
fuck it,
next
give it to
Metal
me
Gear.
in everything. Give it to
Even
me
the
in
Metal
everything.
Gear Solid.
Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 offered kind of endless, ridiculous fun.
But it was
Um,
still had to be done within the linear path provided.
Yeah, I guess Kojima has always kind of opened. He's always kind of allowed for that a little bit, isn't he? As the games developed, which is probably how we got to the likes of MGS5, where it became too much nearly. But
Well, it's weird. It's a weird balance of like, here's a big open land to play in.
it offers
Cool.
you nothing.
But yeah, there's nothing to play
But
with
there are a
inside the
ton
game.
of like really interesting secrets in MGS5 that you could stumble upon or you could find, and no one really like it's one of those things that reminds me of the moments where you're just having a discussion with friends in a schoolyard, and it's like, have you
Mm.
tried this? And so MGS5 still offers a lot of those really cool shit that were in the other Metal Gear games, but you have to trudge through the unfortunate game that it is,
Yeah.
and happen upon that stuff. Like the game itself doesn't offer enough to want to explore all that. But 3 did. Like 3, the various endings you get for the end, for example.
There was so many. Was there like five or six?
Like obviously that's structured,
Yeah.
but it's also not because you had to go outside of the structure to get to it. Like that's a very clever way of blending some of the things that we're talking about in a very linear game. Like so it can
Mm.
be done. Um and I do think more linear games need it. Ones that are like that where there's an element of exploration. I think it would actually benefit the game. Because there's
Yeah, it's
many there are many games where you've kind of, let's say you've done this bit now, and then you move on to the next bit. But if you come back to that area, it's like it's done. You finished it. It's there's nothing else to do. You just have to keep moving forward. Whereas in MGS3, like if you came back to an area, oh, there's a change of guard. You know,
hmm.
so there's still a little bit, like you can still arse around a little bit if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Like I
I
remember
think as well.
doing
Uh,
in that game, it was putting a C4 on one of the food supply um shacks. It was actually near where the end is. Actually, it's just off to the right. There's like another building. But
hmm.
if you blow up, well, it wouldn't be C4, it was C3 in that game. But if you blow up the shack, uh, after a while, the guards, you start to hear their stomach gets rumbly, and they're getting hungry because you just blew up their food supply. There's no like, there's nothing for that. Like, that's not, you're not supposed to do that. But in a modern game, that would be the objective in order to actually take them out.
Right, because they're almost wanting you to know that that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I actually I don't like in games as well where they're like, okay, let's do this like sneaky, but then you always get caught. Sometimes I'm a bit
Yeah.
like, can you actually just at some point just allow it to be an option?
Yeah. So Uncharted 2 has that, and The Order 1886. Both of those
Hmm,
games, which I love, I think they're both really cool games. But the sneak mechanics in both of them is awful
not
because
great.
it's
No.
like you have to sneak. Because if you don't sneak, it's like game over.
Game over. Or there's the scripted moment where you get caught
Yeah,
and then you have to fight.
yeah,
You know, which is in pretty much at this point every Call of Duty game.
yeah. It's like
Every sneaking mission
give us
ends
the,
with, "Oh, we gotta have a shootout now."
because it's more interesting that if you snuck and yeah, let's say you did get caught and there's a fight, whatever. Next time you play it, you're gonna be like, I wonder what happens if I don't get caught.
Hmm.
Like it gives you that extra level of playability.
And I
Yeah,
think that's a great thing actually with we've really gone away now from the we're now talking about
just
replayability value.
scripted
Yeah.
moments in games.
Uh the Hitman games, those new ones,
Mm.
they're great for replayability. The objective is simple, kill your targets. But now it's how do you do it? And as you wander around, you hear people talk and it gives 47 an idea. So it does give you kind of scripted assassination methods,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to follow it if you don't want to. So you still have your own way of doing it, but it does give you kind of little ways of doing it, of like more scripted ways.
Yeah.
And then when you complete them, you get a certain amount of points, and then you unlock new weapons or new outfits or new starting locations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you could end up starting a mission where you're in the house, but now you're disguised as the chef. That's you starting an assassination,
Yeah. I mean,
which as
it can be
yeah,
done where you have like a scripted game. I mean, the most scripted game that we've ever really played are the QTE style games.
right, yeah.
But Heavy Rain felt like there was choices. At least when I played it, I felt like I
Mm.
actually did have a choice. And I haven't felt that with any of that type of game since.
I think there's so many more choices
Yeah,
in
I
that
think
game, or it just doesn't feel like some of the choices are as obvious as you think they are.
yeah. But also, yeah, I think it's more, I think in a lot of other games like that, like Detroit, which is obviously
Mm.
giving you way more choices. There's way more choices in Detroit.
Yes.
But I almost feel like the choices are more taking you down a different path rather than making a slight choice in the decision, you like the same path. You know what I mean? Like, so
All right.
in
Yeah.
Heavy Rain it was uh whether it's cutting off or escaping the burning building, right,
Mm-hmm.
as Madison. And there's a couple of ways you could go, or there's a couple of ways you could do it. And that would kind of determine whether or not she's going to appear later or not, right? Whereas in
Hmm.
Detroit, it would be like, okay, if you escaped down a fire escape and then into a car, then it will introduce you to a whole new character that you would never have met if you haven't gotten into that car, which give you their storyline. But if you didn't do that, you would never get their storyline. That's kind of how I felt with Detroit. It was like it was giving me whole new episodes rather than just giving me choices within the one episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to me, Detroit felt like not me making decisions, but me pressing play on a different menu to a different.
Ah, I see what you mean. Sorry.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going down a whole different like story tree as opposed to making a slight change in the same. Because if I wanted to play out the exact same path but make the different choice and see how that determines the same path,
Mm.
I felt like it didn't really offer me that in Detroit. It was more like the choices were much more major in Detroit than it was in Heavy Rain. I felt like Heavy Rain was like smaller decisions, but could lead eventually to a bigger outcome. It's
Oh yeah.
kind of
No,
how I
I get
felt
you.
with it.
Like, yes.
And the Telltale games don't give you that at all.
I don't know, man. They're amazing.
The last game on you've gone through yours, is it? On the
I've
holiday
gone, yeah,
list.
by five were Skyrim, Final 7 Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Mass Effect more so, and then Breath of the Wild.
I thought the way
They
your
were my
Mass
five.
Effect one was just because you love space.
Well, I played the shit out of Mass Effect, but yeah,
100%. But
space.
what is it like? So with Mass Effect though, where where's your like I want to go there? You know what I mean?
Citadel,
Explore the Citadel.
Des Desia,
Yeah.
which is the homeworld of the Asari. That'd be cool. Um, go like just I
So
suppose with
when
that,
you load up the game though, are you like I just want to chill out in the Citadel?
yeah, man, go to that nightclub. It's class.
Ah. Fair enough.
I want to go around and be like, "This is I'm Commander Eric. This is my favorite store in the Citadel." That's what I'm doing.
My final one then
Yeah.
is Journey.
Okay.
There's just something about like when I load up Journey, I'm just like I I'm being transported. It's just absolutely. It's just such a
Your
stunning game.
last, yes, no, I agree with you. And this is like Death Stranding now, right? Where it's like,
Yes.
yes, right, it is a walking game, it's a running game, it's a sliding game, it's an everything game, it's an emotional journey game.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, it desert for miles and miles.
Yeah, but it looked nice, and I don't think the person was the character is not suffering in that desert. It's only towards the end when they have to climb up the giant mountain, but
Which
they're
is
at
covered
the
in snow.
which is covered in
Interestingly
snow.
enough, with Death Stranding, snow was bad,
Yeah,
and
you
then
look,
this snow
yeah,
was bad.
I would stay away from the snow in Death Stranding. I would just stay down on the. I wouldn't venture too far from my post. Let's just say, you know what I mean,
Well,
in
actually,
case it
just
rains.
before you continue more of Journey, right?
Hmm.
What is your favorite area to walk around? What's your favorite? What's your favorite area to walk around in Death Stranding?
I think it is that first area. I think, which I think they probably put most of the attention in as well.
Mm.
Um, because it was the moment from that kind of the cinematography. It's where the game ends as well. It's a beautiful moment there as well.
Mhm.
When the camera pans out and you see just the large scale of it, and the music from like Low Roar is playing, and it's just you walking and stumbling and shit. That's my favorite area. I think after that it starts to all look exactly the same or not as interesting or kind
I
of
found
apocalyptic actually.
I found it really interesting going across. There's a desert area where you go across. I think the film director is out there,
Yeah.
and it's like this red
Yeah, it looks like Mars kind of thing.
Mars.
Mm.
Yeah, I actually really like that area because it's like, hey, I'm going to cross
Yeah, I'm in
Mars. I'm in
space.
space. But
Yeah.
anyway, back to Journey.
Yeah, kind of. I think it's just it's the interacting with the world and the music. I think that's the one thing that makes me feel like I'm away in a different place. I've been
I think I cried
transported.
at the end of that game as well.
That game is a fucking beautiful game. That's,
Mm.
if you were thinking, I don't know if you brought that up actually in your discussion about our game's art, but yes, that one is art.
I don't think we did. I don't think we brought up Journey.
Like, I mean, fucking how? How could you have a discussion about games being art and not bring up Journey?
Because we got a little too distracted by the meaning of art.
Yeah, again, it's just kind of tying back to that point earlier. It's about the world, and that world is not interacting with you a fuck ton or anything like that. But the way the sand is being influenced by your little character,
Mm.
and I remember first coming across another player in it, and I didn't realize it was another player. I thought it was an NPC.
Mm.
Did you think that was an NPC or another player when you first saw it?
I never got anyone else. I was on my own the whole time.
That's even sadder. So Journey kind of has a little bit of that mechanic from Death Stranding, which
Mhm.
is like Death Stranding, you're alone, but there's something about the outside world helping you, and
Mm.
those are other players. And Journey does the same. So every now and then there's another traveler who appears, and you can only communicate through the little kind of beeps and bops sounds that they make. And sometimes they'll look better than you, and sometimes they look exactly the same as you. And by better, I mean because you can get this white outfit with a really, really long scarf. It just gives you more endurance and stuff. And I remember first seeing them, and I'm just like, I don't know what you want. What do you want me to do? And I didn't realize it was another player. I just thought it was the NPC. And they are actually trying to communicate in a language that neither of us can speak what I need to do, which was just such an amazing metaphor for life.
Okay.
Which
Like, you're
is,
getting
I mean,
deep now.
well, that's why I think the game is art. But it is
I remember
if
actually.
you try and go on, if you go on vacation to another country where you don't speak their language, like you find yourself using a lot of, well, obviously to
Tree.
use, yeah, you just use miming and so on, and trying to show them what you mean.
Mm.
And that was communicated in this, so that it's 100% like going, and it's it in a fun way until you get towards the end, of course, and then it's less fun. But the beginning section of that game is uh almost like the youthful fun
Yeah.
traveling.
Yeah, I was about to say that because I remember you were explaining that to me that the start of the game you're kind of sliding down and it's really fast paced and it's wow, look at the glistening sand and stuff, and it's like being in your childhood. Then it starts to flatten out, which is
You hit
you're
30.
you hit 30. you, you hit the rest of your life, and then and then the end is old age, and I think that's why I started to cry at the end
Yeah, well, I mean,
because I had that whole thing in my head, like.
yeah, and it's not explicit. It's not like, oh, by the way, it was about life.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
no, it's
anyone
not.
can play that game and kind of have their own experience, like their own meaning experience connected to it, which is why,
Mm.
yes, that game I think is art. But why I would, it's one where I want to escape to. It's like when I think about what's the motivation for me to go on a holiday,
Mm.
it's to take a break from the reality I'm in. And some of these games I've just listed, they're not, it's not like these are places I want to go for leisure. These are just places I want to experience to escape my reality. And
Deep, man. You okay, man? Do you want to talk about it?
that's why I loaded up Death Stranding yesterday. I got the PS5 upgrade. I didn't realize I didn't have it actually.
I have you done any of the Metal Gear Solid stuff now?
No, because I literally just loaded up. Because okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
the method, it was a tenner to get the upgrade,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't just load up my save file, which is this is just bollocks, and it's an area I don't mean to bring this up, but this is an area where Xbox absolutely excels over PlayStation.
You're
It's
hurting my
if you
feels, man.
want to play an upgrade from an Xbox One game to a Series X game, you just put it in and you continue. In order for me to continue Death Stranding after getting the fucking upgrade, here's what's really annoying. It's like, firstly, you have to have your disc.
Hmm.
Okay, whatever. Okay, I have to have my disc. But if I put my disc in, the PS4 version shows up
Right.
next to the PS5 version. Why aren't they
Yes.
just the one version? Like, it should just be, I've upgraded the version. That's it. There shouldn't be two. But anyway, you have to load into the PS4 version. So I have to fucking install that anyway.
Hmm.
Right? You have to load into the PS4 version. And I was like, okay, whatever. It's not in the menu to upload your save file. No, you have to go into the game, and then you have to go to a terminal where you normally accept orders. But you don't click the terminal. You just access your cufflink while next to a terminal, and while there, then you can go to the system settings and upload your save data. I actually had to look up a guide how to do this because it was like, why is that not just in the fucking? Actually, it shouldn't be in the menu. It should just be automatic. Anyway. So then I was able to get out of that. I could now finally uninstall the PS4 version to go into the PS5 one, download the save file from the menu, which is a different location than when I was uploading the file. And I loaded it up, and I just walked around that area that I just discussed. This is as
I
much as
just
I could
started
do.
the game again.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that because I feel like, it's been a while since I was in Death Stranding. So I feel like, especially with all my stuff, I wouldn't be able to manage it all because I can't remember anything. I can't remember the
Right. Yeah.
buttons.
Yeah.
I can't
It's
remember the
it's.
mechanics and stuff. So I don't mind. But I don't know. Again, it's not really a game where I want to play it necessarily. I just want to walk around in it, and listen to low roar. That's all I want to do.
But you can't. One thing I don't like about the game, unless you can get it later, I still have never gotten it, which is the Walkman.
Huh?
I still don't have like I think there should be. If there is,
I think there
I
is.
just don't have it. I just don't have it.
So you can listen to music while you walk. I think there
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Yeah, I've
Maybe I'm
never
mistaken.
gotten it.
Maybe I'm thinking of Metal Gear.
It's in Metal Gear for sure, but I've never got. If it's in Dead Stranding, I've never gotten it. If it's not in Dead Stranding, it should be.
I'll have a look.
Especially when you clear the game,
Yeah.
because you would have heard all the songs.
Did you know Apocalyptica has a song in it?
I did not,
I didn't either until I
unless I
loaded it
did
up.
and I forgot.
Well,
I
it
might have
was it
forgot.
was it was loaded in as a new song, so I'm assuming it's part of the the
Oh, the upgrade. Oh, well, then I
director's
would
cut.
have seen it then and I just forgot.
It's pretty good. I definitely heard it
Nice.
before because I loaded it up and I was just in the private room because you can access
Mm.
your music from that, and I just loaded it up. It's a pretty good track, but I
Nice.
definitely heard it before, so I'm wondering if it was for one of the trailers, and I don't know if it's a trailer for the director's cut or a trailer for two, and that they've just added it in for one. I can't really remember.
Were they teasing two before they even announced two? Whoa.
No, it could have been they updated the game with it after announcing two. Maybe, I don't know.
Probably did. So I think that's pretty much all we kind of have to say on those
It's
games.
not, but I'm
Well, it's
sure we
not,
will
but
come
we don't
back
want
to
to.
it.
We'll come back to it. But let's just quickly, just because we had a lot of tangents and a lot of side talks, let's
What
just
are you talking about?
quickly list them off again. So I'll go first.
Right.
So my five games that I have an emotional happy connection with that I want to explore, which were Skyrim, uh specifically the Sector 5 slums of Final Fantasy VII Remake,
Yeah.
Ghost of Tsushima, Mass Effect, and Breath of the Wild. Specifically the Kingdom of Hyrule and Breath of the Wild, because all the other areas just seem like apocalyptic to me.
Yeah.
Because it's desert, snow, fire, or water. I can't fucking survive in any of those. But those are my five
Hmm.
locations that I just love to explore and love to jump into those games and just go, wow. I've already done this, but it's amazing again. So, like,
I'll just add the three onto that then because I also have Skyrim and Ghost of Tsushima. Is
mm,
Death Stranding, San Andreas, and Journey.
also great games. So those are our lists that we have. Pretty much at 8 games.
Yep.
Pretty much 8 games. But if any of yous want to give us a list of games that yous feel is a absolute holiday to be on, that you're just like, wow, I
Extreme
just want
escapism.
extreme escapism. Thank you, Adam. Just pop them in the comments, be it either on YouTube or if you're or Instagram. Touch base with us on Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Uh, yeah, you can absolutely give us those lists or drop a comment. Even if you're like, hey, you guys haven't discussed this thing, and I would like to hear what you think about that. Also, yeah, shoot that across over to us. We're always happy to take suggestions. And yeah, we'll see you at the next shindig. Bye bye.